How are districts determined in Delaware? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Local Edition. With me this hour is Delaware State Representative Tom Kovach. Thanks so much for being with us.
Happy to be here, Jill.
Let's first start with the importance of the census and counting every person that lives in Delaware. How important is that when it comes to actually determining where your representative is from, who is representing you, and how many people do that?
It's absolutely critical. People don't realize that after the census is done every 10 years, we redraw the districts and the representative and senatorial districts in the state, which determines who your state elected officials are. I mean, in addition to the federal money, the population count is incredibly vital for the state, but also individually and locally, it's very important to return these census forms to give an accurate count so we can have equal representative districts throughout the state, and depending on population changes in communities, we need to make sure that that's done fairly.
So in addition to getting resources, financial resources from the federal government and determining some other political issues, this has a very important role, the census does, at a very local level as well.
Absolutely, very important locally.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how districts are determined at this point. Once that information comes in every 10 years from the federal census, how then are districts assigned? How are the boundaries determined?
Well, unfortunately, under our present operation, after the census is redrawn, and you take in population numbers, we get the party currently in power drawing boundary lines that will determine political representation for the next 10 years. The next 5 election cycles for the representatives, the next 3 election cycles for your senators. You have misshapen districts where it's cross. I represent a civic association that has 2 state representatives. I mean, a civic association, not a huge area. Claymont has 4 different state representatives, each with a small slice of Claymont, and not ensuring that Claymont has adequate, firm representation from any one of these individuals.
So what does that mean then for the population as you see it in terms of the way in which they're represented? Is there a disconnect then if there are so many different people working within one particular region? Absolutely.
As we've discussed, sometimes you have overlapping representative districts into one community. Well, then you also have, I share districts with 4 state senators. It's a disconnect in who your elected officials are working together. You have to do this piecemeal, it's inefficient, and people don't actually, if you're not grouped by communities and communities are split up, you're not able to serve as a representative to represent specific communities and common interest of those communities. You've divided those up for political gain instead of serving the people.
So what then would you suggest as the numbers from this 2010 census come back in terms of drawing these boundaries, as they will be redrawn? What should be done?
Well, there have been various proposals, most of them better than the current situation we have. Some of them providing committees, nonpartisan committees, but then somehow they end up with 1 or 2 more people from one particular party than another. How about this? We could have a computer program, a very sophisticated computer program, start in the southwest corner of the state, populate 41 representative districts and 21 senatorial districts. Then have a neutral committee review that and say what, if any, changes we need to make to that. You can take into account political boundaries, subdivisions, states, civic associations, and have a lot better and more accurate representation, fair representation of the people.
Does technology like this actually exist in terms of drawing boundaries?
Absolutely. This is a process done so often and so frequently. There are an incredible amount of these programs out there for various states. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. This will not be an expensive political undertaking. The software is already there. We just have to use it.
We just have a few seconds left, but does this then kind of nullify some of the political boundaries that have been drawn, some of these political divides?
Absolutely. You have districts shaped like W's, barbells. They're designed to capture parties and party representation rather than community representation. We do it neutrally. We get representation of our people and our communities.
All right, thanks so much. We've been talking with Delaware State Representative Tom Kovach. I'm Jill Horner.